Alright. So... might as well heal up, right? I don't have any idea. So, I have to admit... Sploosh, hee hee, sploosh, sploosh. Even though I was freaking out at the time... it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. You know... no, I can't pick those up. The whole splash water monster... iconic monster in Amnesia. Everybody's heard about it. Of course, like I said, I remember watching Amnesia 10 years ago, and it's the part that everybody remembers. It's, hey, do you remember when you fell into the water and there was that splash monster? So, in reflection, I was not really in danger of being caught. The monster was pretty far behind me, but the music, the way that the music, let's go ahead and look around a little bit and see if there's any tinder boxes or things like that around here. But, of course, the music grew and got louder and made you think that it was getting closer to you the longer that you progressed. So obviously I could still hear, like, the splashing distantly away. But I was not really in too much danger in that chase. I was pretty far away. The music suddenly stopped and I got worried. So we have the study. We have the guest room. So that door opened up over there. I'm assuming that that's the way that the game wants me to go. But I'm curious about these other ways. Just so I know where everything is. Storage. That sounds like a fun place. Yeah, the water monster in Amnesia, it might even be more iconic than just the monster that you run into all the time, which I have not really gotten a great look at yet.
You have an ascending room.
An ascending
Will it take us to
room?
the inner sanctum?
It will definitely take care of the vertical part of our journey. So, you have ridden an elevator before?
Yes, the Colosseum at Regent's Park has one. It takes you to the gallery where you can view the panorama.
Good. This ride might be a little longer, and in the other direction.
I feel like if you wanted to show me your inner sanctum, we would be going to the bedroom, sir. I don't like any of this. It's not going to work, right? We're gonna have to go run through fetch quests in order to get it working. That has to be the way it goes. Let's try it. I don't really want to, but why not? Just close the door. Be polite. Pull the lever. It's not working. Is anything in this house working? Find a way to start the engine that powers the elevator. We have to go to the machine room, correct? It seems like the most logical place to start. It's locked. Find the key that unlocks the door leading to the machine room. Is there any goodies behind here? Secret chest? Secret tinderbox? No, not back there. Secret oil, maybe? How about over on this side? Oh. So I might be mistaken, but I want to say that that was probably the first quarter of the game. This is obviously the second, I don't want to say safe room. We'll call it a hub room. I don't want to feel like I am safe anywhere. So like the first area that we were in with like, we needed to build the acid mixture in order to get to the next area. Obviously it was the first hub room, and then this is the second hub room. It's gotta be. I wasn't actually expecting this door to open, but sure, why not? To see if there's anything else hidden away back here. These chests are deceiving because it makes me think that there's something in there when there's not. Well, let's check in here, I suppose. I don't know how much closing the doors helps. It seems like the game does what the game wants to do. Letter regarding the discovery of an orb or row. To my most trusted student and friend, Johann Wehr. The most remarkable thing happened as I was traveling through the Prussian woods this summer. I finally found one of the orbs I've been looking for the last 20-odd years. It's as inexplicable as the Heliodromus described in its... It is as inexplicable as the Heliodromus described it in the Hortus Conclusus. It was as I was told about. An underground Mithraic temple crowned with an unearthly artifact. The orb was big enough to fill my cupped hand, and the texture was smooth and jagged. Its color washed while rich. Contrast is not enough to describe its nature. It was an impossibility, an artificial paradox captured within the stone. I was staying in a nearby village called Aldstadt, investigating one of the antiquated trails, when I finally found the cavern. I went inside, and suddenly I could verify the truth to these enigmatic artifacts. They were real. As you can understand, this is the most important discovery of my life, as this also become my greatest fear. As I entered the underground chamber, I could feel I was trespassing. Because of my curiosity, I did my best to fight these instincts and fetch the orb from its place. I scrambled out of the chamber and into the woods. I could sense something was following me. It bayed loudly as it closed in. The beast, this guardian of the orb, was relentless in its pursuit. I made my way to a nearby ravine where I stumbled upon some men fishing in the lake. I tried to warn them as I passed, but fortunately they remained as I continued my escape. When I heard their cry of pain echo through the valley, I felt such a tremendous sense of relief, thinking I would be spared. Suddenly a blue shimmering light engulfed me, and the colors of the forest were washed away before my eyes. I kept running through the bleak surroundings. The trees had turned to charcoal, black with reliefs of cinder, the ground covered in murky water. I pressed on through the drenched land as the glowing ember gave way to the rising wind and rained on me. I could hear pleading screams in the distance, and I joined them as pain and fear overtook me. I fell to the ground, gasping for air. Okay. Certainly must sound strange, but I had been carried miles away across the Alps to a grassy field outside of Genoa. The Guardian had taken the orb from me, but still until this day I fear its return. Sometimes I lay awake at night listening for the howling cry I heard on the forest. It's nearly been a decade since that day, and I still haven't been able to write about the incident. The last time we spoke, you told me about your interest and ongoing research into the mythic orbs, and I realize I owe you the truth about my visit to Aldstadt. Your friend and mentor, Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa. That's the second time we've seen the name Agrippa. So, obviously, Daniel discovered one of these Mithraic orbs, and he took the pieces of it and mentioned something about a beast that chased Agrippa. And presumably is the same as the shadow that's chasing Daniel. Every single time I touch something, I fear that I'm going to turn around. There's going to be a monster there. Not this time. Maybe. It's way too quiet. I don't like this room. Milestones of human understanding locomotion. Chambers of the human skull. Understanding balance. Hello, doggo. The canine jaw. Just pull that shot real quick. Can't get in there. This was how science was done back then.
Let's see what you have to offer. What a mess. I should have sharpened the saw.
Yeah, probably.
But I can sense it. It's definitely there.
I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, it's really kind of a gruesome period in history where science was more of a experimental thing, or like the medical science and learning about the body. There wasn't any way to do that other than just cutting things open and seeing what's inside. It's really grim and disgusting and nasty. But definitely back then, that's how they learned a lot of the way that the world worked. Canis lupus familiaris. After a short study, it's clear that the agitation found among humans can be found in the dogs. Fear and pain induces stress, which seems to trigger an endogenous response, causing the animal to burst with energy. I believe it's called adrenaline. But they didn't know that back then. I believe that the catalyst is produced in the brain. It's difficult to determine exactly where and what it is, but I can sense it. It reeks of cosmic genesis. There is an inherent problem with harvesting this energy since the creature is bound to die from the exercise. I must refine this process of torture to enable any real work to be done. More experience must be performed, but it seems that only human beings are able to produce the amount necessary. It might be their ability to appreciate the severity of the process that ultimately augments their experience of terror. Monster gonna burst through the doors? No? Physics. Hee hee. Oh man, whatever happened to like physics engines? Like, let's take the Elder Scrolls for example. I remember in Elder Scrolls Oblivion, it was a big deal. You could pick many of the objects up in the game and turn them around. They reacted when they got fired by bows, or fired, like, if you shot something with a bow, it would fly back. And the famous example is in the tunnels that you escaped from at the beginning of the game. And they ran through this when they first introduced the game, but you're given a bow and some arrows, and they show off that they fire arrows into the bucket above a well. And the bucket, of course, moved, and it tilted with the weight of the arrows. Whatever happened to doing things like that? If you compare the physics engine in Oblivion to, like, say, Skyrim, which is largely running off the same system, there's no compare. Oblivion was better. At least as far as that's concerned. I would argue that Oblivion was better in many ways, but I would also argue that Morrowind was my favorite game. No. Look, I get it. I understand. Not everybody liked Morrowind. But you don't have to break the glass. Oh, how did I miss that? But also I feel like there's more here for me to explore. Maybe not much more. Hello, sir. You, are a thing. Further disappointment. The Antiquarian's latest findings yielded nothing. I'm still unable to grasp the inner workings of life and its relation to the power I sense within it. I shall pursue more books on the subject, but I suspect it will be in vain. Since no research has been made in my particular interest, I must attempt to fill that void myself. A lot of would-be scientists did the same thing back then. Clearly, humans emanate more of the energy I seek, but I hope animals will suffice, as they would prove less of a hassle to acquire. So obviously, Alexander was kidnapping people to experiment on, to further his research into dick pics or something. Was that an isolated jump, or was that a prelude to something more? Okay, it was just an isolated jump. That's fine. Dude, you have a lot of skulls in your study. I don't know how you manage that. Gimme. And that's it, huh? Unless there's a monster out here. Did I leave that door open? I think I did. Alright, that's actually it. Fair enough. I didn't realize we were trapped back here. Well, I'm glad that the spooky monster outside can teach us that we were actually trapped in here all along. I don't like this. Am I gonna see? Am I gonna see something spooky out inside one of these windows? Ew. The forest is all goopy. I don't like this. When will it be my turn? Have I not shown restraint? My patience spanned centuries. From where I came, mankind is not even a wasted breath, yet I bow to you. I have done so much for you, and I have gained nothing in return. Agrippa, I trusted you. It was I who was, in all fairness, should have entered that gate. What? That seems important. I feel like we're about to get monstered. I didn't even know that was a chest I could open. It just kind of looked like it was. Nope, don't spook me, game. So what am I looking for? Probably didn't have to light that. I have 11 tinder boxes, so that's good. I actually have a fair amount of oil as well. Flow cycle rod. If the elevator breaks down again, make sure to use the steam engine to build up pressure before channeling it into the machinery. Adjust the levers to get the right amount of pressure inside the chamber. The meter should read up 8 and down 8. Make sure the flow is set according to the following chart. Trinity steam set functions, 4-phase amplitude, complete steam flow cycle. Note that the machine will not check proper configuration until all rods are inserted. Give me that oil. There's another gear. Huh. Maybe I don't need them. So I got what I need then, right? Okay, that still says the same thing. I guess we leave then? Let's not accidentally jump out the window. I feel like I'm going to be going over here and there's going to be a friend waiting for me.